Dusk was settling in when I heard my phone chime with a notification. I glanced down expecting another mundane work email, but the subject line made my heart clench. Your upcoming stay at the Crescent Inn, we look forward to welcoming you. Everything else in the room seemed to fade into the background. My wife, Delilah, was in the next room humming softly, folding laundry, while I stood frozen in the hallway, staring at that email. We had never planned a trip to any Crescent Inn. As far as I knew, there was no upcoming vacation. Yet here was a cheery auto-reply from a hotel confirming a stay I'd never even heard about. My throat went dry, and a pulse of dread settled low in my gut. I'd never considered myself the suspicious type. In our 8 years of marriage, I trusted Delilah implicitly. We each had our routines, shared finances, mostly, separate phone lines, and that was it, no reason to question anything. But an auto-reply about an unknown hotel stay was a glaring red flag I couldn't ignore. I tried telling myself it was some spam email, maybe a random marketing glitch. That rationalization lasted all of 3 seconds, because my eyes caught the exact date, June 18th to June 20th. That was just a week away, and the message specifically read, Dear Mrs. Howard, your reservation is confirmed. Thank you for choosing the Crescent Inn. We can't wait to host you. My wife's last name is Howard, and I recognized our home address listed in the body. My name wasn't on it at all. This was personal, not mass spam. My heart thundered as I reread the email. The room type was Lakeview Suite. The system had assigned a confirmation number. The rate details were listed, along with a note that the credit card on file would not be charged until check-in. Delilah's name was spelled out in crisp digital text. The reservation was for a single occupant, it said, plus a note, amenities requested, in-room wine service, late checkout. That hardly sounded like a work trip. A cold jolt of betrayal flickered through my veins. For the next few seconds, I just stood there, phone in hand, breathing shallow. I could hear Delilah's voice drifting from the living room, something about ordering takeout for dinner. I forced myself to respond calmly, sure, Chinese is good. But inside, a swirl of confusion was ripping me apart. We live in a neat 2-story house on the outskirts of town, with a tiny yard and a single apple tree. Delilah and I built a comfortable life together. No children, by choice, focusing on careers first. She's a marketing coordinator for a cosmetics brand, typically commuting to a small office half an hour away. Her schedule can be flexible, sometimes traveling to trade shows or meeting clients. But I'd always known about those trips well in advance. I'd never once heard mention of the Crescent Inn, or any lodging reservations for the near future. So why was she going, alone, to some place a couple hours away on a weekend we had no official plans? My mind raced with possibilities. Could this be a surprise getaway she'd arranged, maybe for an anniversary I'd forgotten? Our anniversary was months away, so that seemed unlikely. Could it be a business trip that I simply overlooked? Possibly. But the in-room wine service and late checkout reeked of romance, not corporate hustle. I crept into the living room, phone clenched behind my back. Delilah was flipping through a menu, phone pressed to her ear, presumably calling our favorite Chinese spot. She gave me a quick smile, holding up a finger to indicate she'd be a minute. I tried to read her face for signs of guilt, but she looked normal. Bright eyes, calm expression. My chest tightened. She ended the call, announcing, they'll deliver in 30 minutes. You want wontons? Sure, I murmured, sliding onto the couch. My mind churned with how to approach the subject. Do I confront her right away? Demand an explanation? A part of me dreaded what she might say. Another part insisted I wait, gather more info. Delilah plopped down beside me, resting her head on my shoulder. Long day, she sighed, shutting her eyes for a moment. I was in back-to-back meetings. My boss is breathing down my neck about the new campaign. I forced a nod. The normalcy of the moment made me queasy. You must be exhausted, I said softly, though my thoughts were a storm. She gave a small laugh. Yeah, but that's life. How was your day? Fine, I lied, tucking the phone away. I couldn't bring myself to reveal the email yet. My heart hammered. I remembered an old friend once telling me that confronting a spouse out of raw suspicion can lead to more lies if they're truly hiding something. Another friend insisted honesty was best. Torn between those extremes, I stayed silent, letting the weight of the discovery press on my chest like a cinder block. We ate dinner side by side on the couch, occasional small talk about work or plans for the weekend. Meanwhile, I nodded absent-mindedly, half listening. Once or twice, I caught Delilah fiddling with her phone, reading something. My paranoia soared. Was she texting the hotel? Or whoever she planned to meet there? The entire meal felt like a charade. Eventually, I excused myself and retreated to our upstairs study. It's a small room stuffed with a desk, a couple of bookshelves, and the clutter of old documents. Closing the door behind me, I reopened that incriminating email. There it was, mocking me with its formal courtesy, "We look forward to your arrival." I decided to check my wife's travel credit card statements. We each have personal credit cards for daily expenses, plus a joint account for the mortgage and bills. She uses a separate card for official business travel. Usually, we share monthly statements for transparency. But maybe she'd covered her tracks, or I'd overlooked something. I rummaged in the file cabinet. The past few statements from her card were there, though I realized the most recent one might not have arrived yet. The older statements looked normal, some restaurant charges, a flight last month for a short conference, typical receipts. Nothing indicating a future reservation at the Crescent Inn. Maybe she'd used a different card, or maybe the charge was too recent to appear. My frustration grew. In a moment of moral conflict, I considered snooping her laptop or phone. That felt like a betrayal of privacy, but in that moment, I was reeling with suspicion, rationalizing that she might be betraying me first. I left the study, quietly crossing the hall to our bedroom. Delilah was downstairs cleaning up. Her phone was on the nightstand. My heart pounded. Should I do it? The temptation was overwhelming. I picked up her phone, only to find it locked behind a passcode. She never used to do that. Or if she did, we both knew each other's codes. Now, as I typed in the old code we'd once shared, it was invalid. A wave of dread rolled through me. She'd changed her passcode. That was new. My chest felt hollow. I placed her phone back, mind racing. I returned to the study, locked the door, and hammered out a quick search on my laptop. Crescent Inn, location, phone number, etc. The search results told me it was a charming lakeside boutique hotel about 2 hours north, known for romantic getaways and spa retreats. Great. Exactly the sort of place a couple might go for a cozy weekend. Except apparently, only she was going. I thought about calling the hotel directly, but the idea made me queasy. Confronting them might tip Delilah off. A simpler approach might be to see if I could sign into her email. Over the years, we'd occasionally shared passwords for joint tasks, but I wasn't sure if her password was still the same. My fingers trembled as I typed in the old password for her personal email. No luck. Another changed password. Another sign I was locked out. I sank back in the chair, a swirl of anger, fear, heartbreak flooding me. My mind conjured scenarios: she's meeting a lover. She's planning to run away. She's going on a trip with old friends behind my back. All of it stung. Delilah had never shown signs of cheating, no suspicious calls at weird hours, no erratic schedule besides these occasional business overnights. But maybe I'd been blind or naive. The memory of us exchanging vows replayed in my head, making the dread cut deeper. That night, I barely slept. Delilah came to bed around midnight, exhausted, curled up next to me. I forced my breathing to remain steady, pretending to be asleep. She kissed my cheek softly, whispered a quiet "love you," and drifted off. My eyes stung with tears. If she's truly betraying me, how can she act so normal? By morning, I resolved that I had to confront her, or at least broach the subject of that date, June 18th to June 20th. Over breakfast, I mustered my courage. She was sipping coffee, wearing a weary but content expression. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice light, "do we have any plans next weekend?" She looked up, brow furrowing. "Next weekend? Not that I recall." "Why?" My heart lurched. She'd just blatantly lied, unless she truly forgot about the reservation. "I was thinking about maybe driving up to see your cousin or something," I lied. "But you're free?" She paused, blinking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Work's busy, but I'm not traveling." A swirl of nausea. "Okay. Good to know," I murmured, feigning casualness. She gave a small shrug, returning to her coffee. I felt a wave of heartbreak. She was lying, wasn't she? The fact that she didn't mention the inn or any trip confirmed my suspicions that this was a secret. I left for my own job with a heavy heart. The day passed in a haze of half-attention. My co-worker, Jamal, noticed my distraction. I considered confiding in him, but the shame was too raw. After work, I found myself driving aimlessly again, dread gnawing at me. If Delilah was cheating, I had to know. If it was a misunderstanding, I needed clarity. But I tried gently prodding, and she'd lied again. That evening, I resolved on a direct approach. While we sat in the living room after dinner, I steeled myself. So, I began, voice trembling slightly, I got an email yesterday. It was a confirmation from the Crescent Inn for a reservation in your name, next weekend. Her face went pale instantly, coffee cup trembling in her hand. What do you mean? She whispered. I pressed forward. They emailed me by mistake, maybe, but it had your name, the dates, the whole thing. Something about a Lakeview suite. Care to explain why you told me you're free next weekend, yet there's a room booked for you? She set her coffee down with a clatter, eyes darting around. Oh God, she breathed, pressing fingers to her temple. I didn't realize they'd email you. That must have been from the joint membership account or something. Aiden, it's not what you think. I scoffed, tears threatening. Really? Because it looks like you booked a romantic suite behind my back. So please, help me understand. She swallowed hard. I was going to tell you eventually. The truth is, I've been planning a secret little personal retreat. I'm so overwhelmed with work. I needed a break, time to clear my head, do some writing, maybe journaling. I found the Crescent Inn online. I booked a weekend to decompress alone. I wanted it to be a surprise for me, not you. I thought if I told you, you'd worry or try to come along, and she trailed off. I stared, trying to gauge her sincerity. You're telling me you just wanted a solo vacation, so you lied and said you had no plans. She nodded lamely, tears glinting. I'm sorry. I know it sounds suspicious, but I needed space. It's just 3 days. I was going to mention it eventually. Maybe a day before I left, so you wouldn't worry. A swirl of conflicting emotions. On one hand, maybe she was telling the truth. On the other, this still felt off. Why all the secrecy, though? Why not just say, hey, I want a personal retreat? Her face tightened with shame. Because I worried you'd get upset or think something was wrong with our marriage. So I wanted to do it quietly. I exhaled sharply, scanning her expression. She looked genuinely remorseful. But my gut still churned. And you never considered how I'd feel discovering it from a random email? That's worse than just telling me. She dabbed her eyes. I messed up. I'm sorry. An uneasy silence settled. And the romantic touches? Wine service, late checkout? I asked. She bit her lip. I like to indulge myself. It's not for some affair, if that's what you're implying. I rubbed my temples, frustration mounting. Delilah, I can't. I don't know if I believe that. You've been so distant lately, changed your passcodes, and now this. Are you sure you're not seeing someone else? Her eyes flashed with hurt. No, Aiden, I'm not. Honestly, I changed my phone passcode after that security breach at work, didn't we talk about that? And yes, I've been stressed and distant, but not because of another person. She sank onto the couch. I get it, it looks bad. But I promise, there's no affair. Confusion and sorrow tangled in my chest. Okay. If it's truly just a personal getaway, I'd like to come with you. Or at least, why can't we go together? She shook her head vigorously. No, that defeats the purpose. I know it sounds harsh, but I crave solitude for those few days. It's not about not wanting you around, it's about me recharging. I clenched my jaw. This is extremely unusual for a married couple. Are you sure you're not just using that as a cover for something else? Tears brimmed in her eyes. You can choose to believe me or not. I can't force you. But I swear on everything that I just want some alone time. Let me have this, please. Seeing her so distraught gave me pause. For 8 years, she'd never lied or given me reason to suspect infidelity. Maybe she truly was feeling smothered or depressed, wanting an escape. People do unusual things under stress. However, a sliver of doubt still gnawed at me. If she's telling the truth, why keep it secret until the last minute? In the end, we let the argument fizzle. I was too wrung out to keep pressing. She insisted on going, asked me to trust her. We parted ways that night in separate rooms, tension thick. She cried softly behind the bedroom door while I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling. My mind flicked between heartbreak, suspicion, and a faint hope that maybe she was telling the truth. In the days leading up to June 18th, the atmosphere in our house was grim. We tiptoed around each other, exchanging minimal conversation. Once or twice, she tried to ask how I was feeling, but I brushed her off, still stewing in resentment. Meanwhile, I debated drastic measures, hiring a private investigator, or following her to the Crescent Inn to see what was really happening. But I felt guilty at the notion. If she truly needed space, me stalking her would shatter any trust left. Finally, the morning of June 18th dawned. She packed a small suitcase. I hovered in the doorway, arms crossed, watching her fold clothes with trembling fingers. "You're really doing this?" I said quietly, half a question. She nodded, refusing to meet my eye. "Yes, I am." She loaded her suitcase into the trunk, gave me a long, tearful look. "I love you, Aiden. Please remember that. I'll call you tonight." Then she drove off. My chest felt hollow, like she was leaving me for good. All day, I paced the house like a restless ghost. Around 6 p.m., she sent a short text, "Arrived safely. Room is lovely. Going to rest." I stared at the phone, equal parts relieved and suspicious. No mention of an affair partner, obviously. Another text came an hour later, a picture of a lake view from a balcony, no people in the shot, just scenic. "See? Just me," she wrote. My tension eased slightly, but cynicism whispered that this photo could be staged. Night fell, and I was losing my mind, imagining her with a secret lover. So I made a split-second decision. I would drive up there. Not to burst in, but to see with my own eyes. If it turned out she was alone, maybe I'd slip away unnoticed, let her have her retreat. But if I saw suspicious activity, I'd have my answers. The drive took 2 hours, my heart pounding the whole way. I arrived near the Crescent Inn around 10 p.m. The place was set on a tranquil lake, lights glowing softly among pine trees. A separate sign indicated the small parking lot. I parked in a dark corner, scanning the area. The inn looked quiet, no big crowds. I crept close, feeling ridiculous yet desperate. Through the front windows, I saw a cozy lobby, a single receptionist behind a desk. I hovered out of sight, trying to figure out how to locate Tessa's room. The emailed confirmation said Lakeview Suite, but presumably there were multiple Lakeview rooms. My adrenaline surged. I considered the comedic approach of sneaking in, claiming to need a bathroom. But maybe a more direct tactic was needed. In the end, I stepped inside, approaching the receptionist. She looked up with a polite smile. "Hello, can I help you?" I cleared my throat. "Yes, I'm looking for my wife, Tessa Howard. She's a guest here." I was supposed to join her, but I lost my phone with the room details. That fib rolled awkwardly off my tongue. The receptionist typed on her computer. "We do have a Ms. Howard in the Lakeview Suite, 2nd floor, room 213. She only has her name on the reservation, though, no additional guests." She eyed me curiously. My stomach clenched. "Right. Could I get a key? I promise, we're married, but I messed up the details." She hesitated. "Normally, we can't issue a key if you're not on the reservation. But let me try calling her room phone, see if she can confirm." Panic shot through me. If Tessa answered and refused, it would confirm everything. If she saw me barging in, she might never forgive me if she truly was just decompressing. But I nodded, letting the receptionist dial. The phone rang multiple times. No answer. The receptionist frowned. She might be out. "Sorry, I can't give you a key without her authorization." I forced a smile. "That's fine. I'll just wait in the lobby." Inside, my mind reeled. Where was Tessa at this hour? Maybe having dinner, or at a bar with someone. I perched on a lobby sofa for 10 agonizing minutes, scanning every person who passed. A middle-aged couple strolled in, heading upstairs. A younger woman in a spa robe walked by. No sign of Tessa. My heart hammered. Finally, I decided to slip upstairs anyway, see if I could spot anything near room 213. The corridor was hushed, soft carpet absorbing footsteps. I located room 213. Lights glowed faintly beneath the door. I pressed my ear to it, feeling half insane. Faint sounds, music? I couldn't be sure. My mind conjured images of Tessa inside with another man. Or maybe she was alone, reading. My pulse pounded. After a minute, I mustered the nerve to knock softly. No response. Another knock, louder this time. Then footsteps approached. My heart nearly exploded. The door cracked open an inch, revealing Tessa in a bathrobe, eyes wide with shock. "Aiden?" she whispered, as if not believing her own eyes. "What are you doing here?" I opened my mouth, no words came. Behind her, I glimpsed the room, candles on a table, an open bottle of wine, an empty second glass. My stomach twisted. "I needed to see if you were alone," I blurted, tears stinging. I'm sorry for invading your privacy, but I was losing my mind. Her expression wavered between anger and heartbreak. She stepped aside, letting me in. I told you I wanted time alone, she said quietly. Why can't you trust me? I scanned the room. It was a cozy, romantic setting, indeed. Plush bed, a small dining table with a candle flickering. 2 wine glasses? My gaze locked on them. She noticed. That glass is mine, she explained, voice tight. I poured a second one, but realized I didn't want more. I was going to dump it. I stood there, feeling foolish, suspicious, everything at once. So you're alone? I said softly, glancing around. She nodded, tears forming. Yes, I'm alone. I was listening to some meditation music, wrote in my journal, took a bath. That's all. A wave of conflicted relief flooded me. But also shame. Why do all this in secret? It looks like an affair. She pressed her lips together, tears spilling over. Because I felt suffocated. I couldn't find the words to tell you I needed a break from everyday life, from being a perfect wife or your constant companion. I was drowning in my own mind. Instead of discussing it, I ran away here. And I hid it because I was scared you'd be offended or you'd try to fix it when I just need time to breathe. Silence hung heavy. My eyes burned. So you'd rather lie and let me think the worst? She sniffled. I never meant for it to get this bad. I thought I'd slip away quietly, come back refreshed, and you'd never suspect. But the hotel must have used some old contact info linking to your email. My anger flared. You realize how insane that is, right? We're married. We're supposed to face things together, not vanish. She nodded, hugging herself. I know. I messed up. But I still want these few days. I can't just bury my mental health crisis because you're worried. I looked at her, heartbreak swirling. She was trembling, tears on her cheeks. This side of Delilah, raw and confessional, felt new. So you want me to leave? She bit her lip, voice trembling. Yes. I want you to trust me. Let me have this solitude. I'll come home Sunday, and we can talk more. Please, Aiden. My chest constricted. Part of me wanted to stay, to fix everything now. Another part recognized the despair in her eyes, how she was genuinely unraveling. Maybe I'd overlooked her struggles, focusing on my own routine. Slowly, I nodded. Okay, I whispered, tears sliding down my face too. If you promise me there's no one else, I'll go. But this, it hurts, Delilah. I feel shut out. She stepped closer, daring to rest a hand on my cheek. I know, and I'm so sorry. Let me do this. We'll talk everything through when I'm back. I promise, no more secrets. I closed my eyes, exhaling. The candles flickered, the faint smell of lavender in the air. All right, I said at last. I'll give you space. She nodded, relief and sorrow warring on her face. Then she guided me to the door. Before I left, I paused. Let me see your phone. Just to confirm you're not texting some lover. My voice quavered with embarrassment. She stared at me, a flash of hurt. Then she walked over to the nightstand, unlocked her phone, and handed it to me. I scanned her messages. They were mostly from me, her mother, some colleagues. No secret paramour. The phone logs showed no suspicious calls. My chest eased somewhat. She let me check email. Nothing shady. I felt relief mixed with guilt for going to such lengths. But it seemed to confirm her story. I handed the phone back, tears in my eyes. I'm sorry I doubted you so deeply. But can you see why I did? She nodded, tears brimming again. Yes. Let's fix it after Sunday. I left quietly, heart heavy. In the parking lot, I leaned against my car, sobbing, a mixture of relief and heartbreak. She wasn't cheating, but our relationship was frayed enough that she'd hidden a mental health break from me. That knowledge stung more than any betrayal. Our marriage had corroded into secrets and fear. The drive home felt surreal. I spent the next 2 days in a fog, simultaneously relieved she wasn't unfaithful, yet grieving the wedge between us. She sent me occasional texts, a photo of the lake, a short note that she was journaling about her stress, that she missed me in a bittersweet way. I tried to respond supportively, though my emotions remained tangled. On Sunday evening, she returned. I met her at the door, tension thick. She seemed calmer, though drained. We stood in silence a moment before I pulled her into a hug, tears threatening. She whispered, "Thank you for letting me do this." I took her suitcase, set it aside. "We need to talk, though." We sat on the couch for hours, raw honesty pouring out. She confessed how she'd felt overshadowed, how her job's relentless demands plus our routine at home left her feeling stifled. She apologized for changing passcodes, for booking the inn in secret, for letting me worry. She insisted there was never any affair, just a misguided attempt to shield me from her meltdown. I admitted my insecurities, how her secrecy and the auto-reply from the hotel rattled me to my core. I apologized for borderline stalking her at the inn, acknowledging the fear that drove me. The conversation was messy, with tears and frustration, but also genuine understanding blossomed. We recognized we'd lost open communication, each trapped in our own bubble. As the night wore on, we made a plan: therapy. We'd find a marriage counselor to help us reconnect, to ensure we never let secrets fester again. She promised to share her feelings of overwhelm rather than disappearing. I promised to support her need for occasional solitude in a healthier, transparent way. We ended the night exhausted but holding hands, a flicker of hope that we could rebuild trust. In the following weeks, therapy sessions exposed deeper layers. Delilah had harbored anxiety about not measuring up to the image of a perfect wife, fearful I'd be disappointed if she admitted needing personal space. I realized I'd grown complacent, not noticing her silent struggles. The Crescent Inn fiasco forced us to examine our marriage at a fundamental level. We emerged stronger for it, I think. The tension of that near betrayal, ironically, became a turning point. Delilah began journaling regularly, setting boundaries for self-care that didn't require subterfuge. I overcame my paranoia by focusing on direct communication. If she needed a day alone, she told me. If I felt uneasy, I spoke up. Over time, the old warmth returned, we laughed more, and the sense of partnership revived. A few months later, we even visited the Crescent Inn together. Delilah suggested a weekend getaway as a couple, to reclaim that place from the memory of fear and suspicion. We booked a suite with the same lake view, indulging in wine service. She showed me the spots where she'd sat alone, journaling, wrestling with her mental health. Instead of stirring bitterness, it felt healing. We watched the sunrise over the lake, hands entwined, grateful for how far we'd come. Reflecting on that auto-reply email, I realize how a single piece of digital communication can upend an entire relationship if secrets lurk beneath the surface. That one message shattered my illusions, drove me to confront truths we'd both been avoiding. For a while, it nearly tore us apart. But confronting it openly, painfully, led us to a deeper honesty. Our marriage isn't perfect, no union is. But we learned that the real danger is in letting fear and pride keep us silent. Delilah found the courage to speak about her emotional strain. I found the courage to trust her again, once she proved her sincerity. We practice a new vow now: total transparency, even if it hurts. Because we'd rather face pain head-on than let it fester until we're booking secret getaways. Sometimes I think about the day I stood in the hallway, phone in hand, reading that email subject line about the Crescent Inn. I remember the jolt of cold dread. Now, after everything that's happened, I can almost smile wryly at the memory. Life can pivot on a single message, a single misunderstanding. But if two people are determined to fight for each other, even that pivot can lead to a better place. I won't say the experience didn't leave scars. Whenever Delilah says she needs a break, my stomach still tenses. But we talk it through calmly, ensuring I know she's not disappearing into a lie. She, in turn, promises never to spring such surprises on me again. We remain vigilant, building on the lessons learned from that heart-wrenching weekend. Looking back, I also realize how easy it is to assume the worst. In my heartbreak, I convinced myself she had a lover. The evidence, romantic-sounding sweet, hush-hush planning, changed passcodes, aligned with infidelity. But reality was more nuanced. She was drowning in personal issues, grasping for a short burst of solitude. The illusions of an affair existed only because we'd stopped sharing our truths. In the end, that's the message I carry: illusions thrive in secrecy, but love can survive if you shine a light on those dark corners. Delilah and I had to blow up our comfort zone, to cry and rage and nearly lose each other, just to realize how badly we needed open hearts. We're not the same couple we were before that auto-reply, but perhaps we're more genuine now, more intimately aware of each other's vulnerabilities. The next time I see an unexpected hotel confirmation in my inbox, I hope it's for a surprise trip the two of us planned together, or a spontaneous adventure she's genuinely excited to share. But if it ever again suggests something else, I'll remember we can handle the truth. Because the heartbreak of not knowing nearly destroyed us, and the relief of unraveling the Real story put us on the path to something more honest, more compassionate. Delilah once told me, a month or so into therapy, I never realized how lonely I was until I started hiding things from you. It was like I'd exiled myself. That stuck with me. Secrets isolate us, even from the people we love. Now, we vow to keep each other close, trusting that our bond can withstand whatever storms come our way, so long as we face them hand in hand. And that's how a single auto-reply from a hotel confirmed a stay I never knew about, nearly breaking my spirit but ultimately leading us to a deeper, truer connection. It's a chapter in our marriage we won't soon forget. The weekend she spent alone in a romantic inn for no reason but her own mental health, and the husband who nearly lost his mind thinking she was with someone else. A cautionary tale, or maybe a testament to how misunderstandings can be catalysts for growth. To those who read this, my only advice is, don't let your partner find out about major personal decisions from a random email. Don't assume your spouse can't handle your fears or mental burdens. Even if you crave solitude, or fear conflict, letting honesty slip away opens the door to darkness. And if you're on the receiving end, remember that not every suspicious detail must mean betrayal. Sometimes, heartbreak is born from poor communication and pent-up anxieties, not from a desire to hurt. We keep learning this each day, step by step, forging a stronger marriage from the ashes of suspicion. Delilah is more open about her emotional needs, I am more mindful of her mental health. We text each other pictures of silly everyday moments, laugh at inside jokes, plan mini getaways together. The scars remain, but they remind us not to slip back into silence. Because in the space of silence, illusions breed, and illusions nearly undid us once. We won't give them a chance to do so again.